If we study performance management system in private entities, there's a darn need for us, of course, in the government um, sector, in the government side. So the Strategic Performance Management System, or SPMS, is a mechanism that links employee performance with organizational performance to enhance the performance orientation of the compensation system. It ensures that the employee achieves the objectives set by the organization, and the organization, on the other hand, achieves the objectives that it has to set at its strategic plan. The SPMS objectives are the following: to concretize the linkage of organizational performance with the Philippine Development Plan, Agency Strategic Plan, and Organizational Performance Indicator Framework. Number 2, to ensure organizational and individual effectiveness by cascading institutional accountabilities to the various levels of the organization, and to link performance management with other human resource systems. The Strategic Performance Management System basic elements. These are the basic elements: goals that are aligned to agency mandate and organizational priorities. Number 2, system that is outcomes oriented. Number 3, a team approach to performance management, followed by forms that are user-friendly and shows alignment of individual and organizational goals. Then information systems that support monitoring and evaluation. And lastly, a communication plan. SPMS process adheres a 4-stage cycle. Performance planning and commitment is the first cycle. During this stage, success indicators are determined. Success indicators are performance level yardsticks consisting of performance measures and performance targets. These shall serve as basis in the office and individual employees' preparation of their performance contract and rating form. The second cycle is performance monitoring and coaching. The performance of the office and every individual shall be regularly monitored at various levels. Monitoring and evaluation mechanism ensure that timely and appropriate steps can be taken to keep the program on track, and that its objectives or goals are met in the most effective manner. Managers and supervisors act as coaches and mentors to provide an enabling environment intervention to improve team performance and to manage and develop individual potentials. Number 3, performance review and evaluation. This phase aims to assess both office and individual employees' performance level based on performance targets and measures as approved in the office and individual performance commitment contracts. Employees' evaluation is the competency assessment vis-a-vis the competency requirements of the job. The assessment shall focus on the strengths, competency-related performance gaps, and the opportunities to address these gaps, career paths, and alternatives. For number 4, performance rewarding and development planning. The results of the performance evaluation/assessment shall serve as inputs for the agency's human resource plan, which includes identification and provision of developmental interventions and conferment of rewards and incentives. The SPMS utilizes a 5-point rating scale. So, there is numerical, 1 to 5, adjectival, and description. So, for numerical 1 to 5, in adjectival, 1 is poor, 2 is unsatisfactory, 3 is satisfactory, 4 is very satisfactory, and number 5 is outstanding. Now, for description, for poor, performance was consistently below expectation And for number 2, which is unsatisfactory, performance failed to meet expectations, and so on. And for number 3, performance met in terms of quality of work, efficiency, but the most critical annual goals were met. And number 4, performance exceeded expectations. And for number 5, performance represents an extraordinary level of achievement and commitment in terms of quality and time, technical skills and knowledge. So that's the highest rating. In C, civil service CSR's HR initiatives program to institutionalize meritocracy and excellence in human resource management, or the prime HRM. Many government agencies are now adopting this prime HRM. Strategic Performance Management Systems, or SPMS, Competency-Based Recruitment and Qualification Standards, or CBROQS, Competency-Based Learning and Development Program, CBLDP, and Leadership and Coaching Program, or LCP. Reward Management. Under Reward Management, we have the Honors Award Program, or HAP. The Honors Awards Program, or HAP, is the rewards and recognition program of the Civil Service Commission. HAP recognizes and rewards the best of the bureaucracy through its annual search for outstanding public servants. It highlights the achievements and contributions men and women in the government, exemplifying modern heroism. The conferment of honor awards aims to motivate or inspire government employees to improve the quality of their performance and instill deeper involvement in public service. The search culminates with the recognition and conferment of awards to deserving public servants during the celebration of the anniversary of the Philippine Civil Service every September. The award is categorized to Presidential Lingkod Bayan, Dangalang Bayan, and Civil Service Pag-asa Award. Di Pamanang Lingkod Bayani. Di Pamanang Lingkod Bayani is a project under the Honor Awards program. It aims to recognize to public servants who were killed in the line of duty or those who died while in the performance or pursuit of their respective functions, duties, and responsibilities. Pamanang Lingkod Bayani covers all permanent civilian employees of the government, including non-uniformed personnel of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police. There are 3 components: Pamanang Parangal sa Lingkod Bayani, Pamanang Lingkod Bayani Scholarship, and Pundong Pamanang Lingkod Bayani. The first is to recognize through a posthumous award citation in the form of plaque signed by the chairman of the Civil Service Commission. For number two, 3 immediate family members of the deceased civil servant may avail of the scholarship, baccalaureate, master's, or doctoral degree in any of the 111 member institutions of the PASOK implemented through MOA, entered into by and between the Civil Service and PASOK on August 8, 2008. Scholarship shall be in a form of discounts on tuition and school fees, 100% for the first beneficiary, 75% for the second beneficiary, and 50% for the third beneficiary. For Pundong Pamanang Lingkod Bayani, a one-time financial assistance to be determined by the PLBI, EXICOM, and subject to the availability of funds, which the ideology of including people of diverse cultural and religious backgrounds. We see this in practice in various socialization programs of companies and in hiring practices of multinational corporations. In business, diversity is a business tactic which encourages and celebrates individual differences to better serve a heterogeneous customer and employee base. external and internal customers. Diversity training is the process of educating employees or volunteers to functions in a diverse environment. Organizations seek to gain competitive advantage in a dynamic organizational labor market. Demographics today, because of globalization, exigency of both economic and social changes in our contemporary world, demand successful diversity management. So if we will see from my slide, I worked with different races when I was stationed overseas. So I was placed in a highly diversified workplace like cruise ships and hotels overseas. So I was working with Russian people, people from the Baltic, people from South and North America, and of course the Middle Eastern people, and even Asian, African. So I have the personal experience with working with people of different races. I have here a diversity wheel, and Lee Garden-Wartz and Anita Rowe, a team of diversity experts, identified 4 layers of diversity to help distinguish the important ways in which people differ. So this is being illustrated in the diversity wheel. The personality is at the center of the diversity wheel. So it's in the core, because it represents a stable set of characteristics that is responsible for a person's identity. It can help one understand better how similarities and differences between a person's personality and that of co-workers influence one's interactions with others. There is the apparent diversity in gender and sexual orientation. Women have become more assertive long after women's liberation was launched in the 1970s. Women empowerment. Women in the workforce have special needs. So this will be considered as diversity. Those with divergent sexual orientation, such as gays and lesbians, the LGBTQ, have come out in an open in the advent of equal opportunities employment laws in many countries. There is also diversity in age or generation is another common concern. So if you will see outside the core, you will see the next circle is the internal dimensions, and under this are age, race, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, and gender. The next circle or the next wheel is external dimensions. So this is geographic location and others like income, personal habits, recreation habits, religion, educational background, work experience, and so on. And the last wheel is the organizational dimensions. So composed of work location, union, affiliation, and so on. So let me expound this. That internal dimensions and external dimensions, it is connected with the personality. It's still connected with personality because it is being placed near the core at the center. So like age, race. So there will be differences in age in one organization, even in one specific area of a company. For example, in a specific department of an organization, in human resource department, for example, there will be diversity in age in the sense that workers in that department, they don't have the same age, all of them. So perhaps the manager is older compared to the clerk who is working in that the same department. So the same thing with race. No, the manager is different race. His colleagues, he will be working with colleagues with different races. Gender as well. So if the manager is a male, perhaps the secretary is a female, or the secretary is a male, and the manager is female, vice versa. So same thing with this. All of these columns within the diversity wheel, there is also differences, similarities, and dissimilarities. So that's why it's called diversity wheel. Now let's proceed to challenges in managing diversity. So there are 10 identified challenges in managing diversity. Number 1 is inaccurate stereotypes and prejudice. There is a belief that differences are viewed as weaknesses. In turn, this promotes the view that diversity hiring will mean sacrificing competence and quality. Ethnocentrism is another challenge. This represents the feeling of one's cultural rules and norms are superior or more appropriate than that of others. And poor career planning. This is associated with a lack of opportunities for diverse employees to get the type of work assignments that qualify them for senior management positions. Another challenge is an unsupportive and hostile working environment for diverse employees. Diverse employees are frequently excluded from important events and the friendly camaraderie in most offices. Lack of political savvy on the part of the diverse employees, because they are deprived or bypassed on promotion opportunities simply because they do not know how to play the game called organizational politics. Difficulty in balancing career and family issues. This is a classic tussle between personal needs and task needs. Fears of reverse discrimination. Some employees believe that managing diversity is a smokescreen for reverse discrimination. Diversity is not seen as an organizational priority. This is a subtle resistance wherein employees complain about the time, energy, and resources devoted to diversity. The need to revamp the organization's performance appraisal and reward system. Success will be based on merit and not prejudices of superiors. And number 10, resistance to change. People resist change for many reasons. So as diversity is inevitable and already expected in the workplace, it is also expected that many problems associated with diversity and diversity management will come up. That's why there's a need for human resource management team to be familiarized with the challenges and how to manage diversity. Next is effective diversity management. So we have here the inclusion, exclusion. Number 2, denial. 3, assimilation. Next is suppression, isolation, followed by tolerance, then building relationships, and fostering mutual adaptation. For inclusion and exclusion, this is an outgrowth of affirmation action programs. Its primary goal is to either increase or decrease the number of diverse people at all levels of the organization. Denial. This is an outright denial that differences exist. It may manifest itself in proclamations that all decisions are color, gender, and age bias free. Assimilation. The basic premise behind this alternative is that all diverse people will learn to fit in and become like the dominant group. It only takes time and reinforcement for people to see the light. Suppression. Differences are discouraged when using this approach. This can be done by telling or reinforcing others to quit whining and complaining about issues. Current way of doing things, by setting the diverse person off to the side. In this way, the individual is unable to influence organizational change. Managers can isolate people by putting them on special projects. Tolerance. This entails acknowledging differences but not valuing or accepting them. It represents a live and let live approach that superficially allows organizations to give lip service to the issue of managing diversity. This differs from isolation in the sense that it allows for the inclusion of diverse people. Number 7, building relationships. This is based on the premise that good relationships can overcome differences. It addresses diversity by fostering quality relationships characterized by acceptance and understanding among diverse groups, and fostering mutual adaptation. People recognize and accept differences, and most importantly, agree that everyone and everything is open for change. Mutual adaptation allows the greatest accommodation of diversity because it allows for change even when diversity is being effectively managed. Many of the Fortune Top 100 Best Companies are mutual adaptation. How should diversity be effectively managed in organizations? These are some rules that must be followed or that must be adhered in every diversity initiative and in effectively managing diversity in an organization. Number 1 is recognition of the existence of diversity in the organization. Then, fostering awareness of the kinds of diversity that exist in the workplace. Then build capacities among people in the organization that will equip them to perform well. Appropriately match individual diversities, that is personality types, skills, and competencies with job requirements, organizational resources, and goals in order to fully utilize people's special skills and creativity. Build cohesive and productive work groups, total quality management, and organizational competence. And lastly, celebrate diversities and create better intercultural understanding to increase personal and professional effectiveness. Diversity management underscores 3 issues. Number 1, diversity has many dimensions. It is not about compartmentalizing characteristics of people. It is about understanding the totality of employees. Diversity is not about differences per se. It is about similarities and differences. This means that dealing with both must be handled under diversity management. And the third issue is diversity includes the collective mixtures of differences and similarities. Some use affirmative action and valuing diversity over managing diversity. Affirmative action is an artificial intervention aim at giving management a chance to correct an imbalance, an injustice, a mistake, or an outright discrimination. Valuing diversity emphasizes awareness, recognition, understanding, and appreciation of human differences, and revolves around creating an environment in which everyone feels valued and accepted.
So we are now in workplace safety, health and wellness, and security management. So I've expounded information already, our previous interventions, and this will be the last topic. So we all know that we have already a workforce that is reasonably compensated, well trained, and productive. The last major management concern is to keep them safe and healthy so that they can continue to perform, of course, at high levels. There are many federal and even in the Philippines, workplace safety laws and regulations, as well as the governing agencies for industrial safety and health, employee health issues, including work-life balance, employees assistance and wellness program, and stress management, and how they affect our employees are being in place. Okay, programs like this are being in place to help employees in order for them to be healthy and productive. Employee health is defined as the state of physical and psychological wellness in the workforce. While workplace safety, it deals with the issue of minimizing occupational illness and injury, stress, and time management. Workplace security, on the other hand, is the management of personnel, equipment, and facilities in order to maintain their protection. It covers violence in the workplace, cybersecurity, bomb threats, for example, management of natural and man-made disasters, risks to company, computer systems and intranets, and many other issues.